there's a number of people with questions. Let me just ask follow-up on a question by another testifier that in states where similar laws have been enacted, what has been the experience with marijuana use in those states? Has it shot up dramatically? Has it gone down? Do you have any knowledge of what happened in those states? We've heard testimony that it hasn't increased anymore, or it's actually decreased compared to other states where it's remained completely illegal.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about, to me, states that are now entertaining the legalization for medical marijuana. We have seen a 20% decrease in the United States over the last 5 years of drug use among young people, and it's primarily in marijuana. Use is going down all over the country. We believe it's for a number of reasons. We believe because parents, for the first time, are having discussions with their children about the fact that this is not the drug of the 60s. It is a different drug. It was 1 and 2% THC levels back in the 60s and 70s. It now averages between 8 and 12%. In Michigan, which borders with Canada, and a major bridge and thoroughfare, BC bud, or British Columbian bud, is as high as 30% THC.
It is a... What about states where it's been, with this similar laws that's been enacted, I'm asking what the difference is in usage in states compared to those that haven't enacted.
And my answer is in all states in the country, to some degree, marijuana use is going down. Okay, so that would be the 38 states that have no...
Similar laws have not resulted in an increase in marijuana use. Similar laws in other states.
Well, if you ask me, I believe they have. If you go to Oregon or if you go to California, absolutely. If you talk to, it's all anecdotal. I don't know that there's been a study with respect to direct correlation of when a medical marijuana act is initiated and the effect that it has on drug use or not. Because I'm telling you, Mr. Chairman, marijuana use is going down nationwide, so I don't know how you correlate or explain that.
Okay, so you're not aware of any studies that indicate any increase in usage anywhere as a result of a similar law passed?
It's going down. Marijuana use in this country is going down.
Regardless of what the law is regarding medicinal marijuana? Based
upon education efforts, prevention efforts, law enforcement efforts, marijuana use is going down.
Great. Okay, we have Representative Emmons, Representative Lemons, Representative Garfield. Let's start. Okay. Representative Lemons, you have follow-ups? Okay. Garfield and Representative Hogendyke.
Yes, you know, you stole my line about I'm here from the government, I'm here to help. Let me tell you that this body, I know many of us Republicans have been trying to defend, I don't want to say the word defend, but trying to keep the drug companies from having double jeopardy. If there's a class action suit considering such as Vioxx versus each state suing, because many of us are afraid that they will raise the prices of other drugs to make the payoff if you go to the separate states. So we have a problem with them possibly raising other drug prices to pay for a double jeopardy situation. It's a class action suit and they lose, and then all 50 states, you know what they're going to do is raise the rest of the drugs that they make to the rest of us to pay it off. It's like tobacco stuff. So many of us have felt that by doing this double jeopardy situation, that it would be best for us to allow a class action suit, and now we're hearing that that might not work out anyway. And many of our Democratic colleagues said, you know, they want to sue whatever, you know, and we've been trying to protect it, I think, from a standpoint of raising the drug. I'm not. There are times the FDA makes mistakes, like any other body. We make mistakes. And when we're not human enough to say we made a mistake, and people have been injured, I have a problem with that, because we do make mistakes.
We're at 20 minutes and we've got 20 people to testify.
As Representative Lemons alluded to, we took over-the-counter drugs off the market because they were using that to make methamphetamines in our state. So there are things that happen that we don't know they're going on until they're brought to our attention and where we have to take corrective action. So yeah, I just want to say, you know, once again, that we're not beating up on the FDA, or, I mean, that's your personal view. But once again, I don't know what people will do under pain and suffering. I just don't know what they would do. What would you do? And I want to leave you with that. Thank you.
Okay, Representative Hull.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are drugs that have medicinal purposes or improve health, like drugs to reduce blood pressure or reduce cholesterol levels, and then there are drugs that I don't think have any healing or medicinal use other than to relieve pain. Correct? I mean, we have FDA-approved drugs that are strictly for the purposes of relieving pain.
I'd have to agree with you in general. Like I said, I'm not a physician, or
Right.
I'm not a scientist, and
Okay,
so
that's fine.
I want to testify with respect to issues that I have no
And I think
expertise.
the idea of medical use of marijuana is not to improve anybody's health per se, to alleviate cancer or Crohn's disease or whatever, but to relieve pain. My question to you is, has the FDA done testing on marijuana as a potential prescribed pain reliever? Do you know whether or not the FDA has ever done that?
Yes, I think if you look at the ILM study and other studies, you'll determine that the efficacy of marijuana as a medicine, all aspects of potential benefits and harms was looked at. And as was pointed out, in parts of the study they said it had some beneficial aspects to it, but that the crude delivery system, smoking it, the carcinogens, lighting it up, smoking the weed, outweigh any benefits that it could potentially deliver. Now that's what the scientists and the physicians say. We can snicker and we can laugh and we can scream. We can engage in the politics of determining what is or what isn't medicine. Let's vote on OxyContin, all in favor. How many think Vioxx should be a medicine? The whole point I'm making is in this country, when it comes to medicines, we have determined that we will rely on experts, people that we send to great institutions here in Michigan as well as across the country who have that expertise, and then we look him or her in the eye and say, is this an acceptable medicine? To date, in our country, they have said no.
Okay, and then just one further question. I have this statement from the Food and Drug Administration stating that marijuana is listed as a Schedule I controlled substance status, which I guess is the most stringent level, for 3 reasons. It has a high potential for abuse, it has no current accepted medical use and treatment in the United States, and has a lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision. Are you able to comment as to why you think marijuana is still listed as a Class 1 or as a Schedule I? And if it wasn't, I'm thinking it might be a little easier to implement this legislative.
I think for the reasons set forth in the FDA's test, it does not meet the test. Period. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Sheen, you have 11 and 20 minutes.
Just a simple question. Hearing those people, the lives that have been lost, the lives that have been saved by the FDA research, what would you say that percentage might be? If you compare the number of lives saved to the number of mistakes or lives lost based on mistaken FDA choice.
It'd be hard to quantify the number of people who died because the drug is not approved by the FDA. I don't know if has there been a study.
I'm just asking in comparison to the mistakes they've made and the lives they've saved. I'm sure they know that percentage.
No, they would know. I would imagine it would be easy to study the number of people who suffered as a result of a drug approved by the FDA that was properly approved. It's probably impossible to quantify who suffered as a result of the drug not approved.
Would you prefer I didn't ask the question?